अस्सलामु अलैकुम वरहमतुल्लाहि वबरकातुहू। क़ाल रब्बि इश्रह ली सदरी व यस्सिर ली अमरी वहलुल उक़दतम मिन लिसानी यफ़क़हू क़ौली। औज़ु बिल्लाहि मिनश शैतानिर रजीम। बिस्मिल्लाहिर रहमानिर रहीम। We will inshallah discuss today the conclusions from Surah Tawbah. It's a little bit long topic, but I will be as concise as possible and as to the point as possible, so the young generation should have understand that what is Islam wanted from us in terms of establishing the rule of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the land. First thing is that Islam totally reject any kind of terrorism. There is no place, room of any kind of terrorism in Islam. Islam is a piece of Islam is a religion of peace and safety, and it is the individual responsibility to bring other people towards Allah, and acceptance or not acceptance is not in his hand. His job is to just bring the message to other person. And in that regard, anyone who try to form a group and wants to establish the rule of Allah by force, it is also not allowed in Islam. The responsibility falls on to the ruler or the state, and there are three main responsibilities which we have to support the state to establish. And number one is declaration of any kind of jihad and qital is the responsibility of the state and the ruler, Muslim ruler. No one else can declare that. No individual can declare jihad and qital for any other group or any other nation or any other city or anyone else, and it has to be a concentrated effort by the state level. Number two, declaration to someone that he is a kafir or she is a kafir is also a responsibility of the state. No individual can stand up and blame other that you are a kafir or he is a kafir, because this will create this significant discord in the society. And the example nowadays is that in Pakistan there is a group called Qadianis, and they actually rejected the kalma because they have this disbelief about our beloved Prophet Muhammad Rasulullah, that they don't consider him as the last messenger. So because they are not accepting the truth, the kalma, La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah, so state is the one who declared them as non-Muslims, and that's how it should be done. And number three is that all foreign affairs has the responsibility of the state. No individual can stand up and make a pact with any other nation thinking that because I am a better Muslim and I have the best group of Muslims, so I would establish Islam by taking help from other nations, although the other nations may be non-Muslims, and they create chaos or terrorism or whatever in the land of Muslim countries, thinking that okay, they want to establish the Islam which thinks they are right. This is also not allowed in our religion. Foreign affairs is the responsibility of a state. So these three things is absolutely prohibited on an individual basis. Number two, the issue about giving dawah and issue about bringing people to Allah is the responsibility for everyone. Has to be done with hikmah, has to be done with intellect, has to be done with your actions as well as with your tongue. And the beautiful example is that if all the individuals become more closer to Allah and more pious, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has all the power in his hand that he will put good rulers on the Muslims. So individual improvement of character is an essence of coming close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The best hijrah that anyone can do is hijrah towards Allah, not in hijrah towards the land, meaning you leave everything which Allah has prohibited you and you just come to Allah and Rasulullah, and you should establish individually and collectively a society like Sahaba did. So this is and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has shown us in the history that Muslim Ummah were going through turmoil. Hazrat Usman radiallahu ta'ala anhu was martyred, Hazrat Ali karamallahu wajhu was martyred, and it seems like that everywhere there is chaos and fitna. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bring Umar bin Abdul Aziz and things become so nice that Islam just started spreading everywhere with goodness. So we are responsible to make sure that we are the one who established the kalma first on us, then on the family, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will help bringing it on the land. The solution of this problem, I already said, that we all have to come towards Quran, towards Muhammad Rasulullah and establish the kalma like Sahaba did. Although they have difference of opinion, but they never have any discord or any division just because they have difference of opinion. So individually people can have difference of opinion, but that doesn't mean they created division and discord among the ummah. So this is very, very important. Number 3 is that we have read in detail in the previous section of Quran, not in only Surah Tawbah, the characteristics of kafir, the characteristics of munafiqeen, and now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will gonna, in the next section which will start after Surah Tawbah, is gonna explain in detail about the characteristics of mushrikeen. So it is mirrors now that every individual should look at it and see where he stands. And this is a constant struggle with you till you die, that you should always strive to come close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And in this aspect, we have 2 beautiful examples in the life of our beloved Prophet, the Makki life and the Madani life. So if it so happened that we are in this world at a time where Islam is not on top, so Islam is like the Islam of Makki life. Islam was not on top. There was no order of doing any fighting or any qital or any jihad at that time. Most important, Rasulullah focused on everyone to improve their character. Once you improve the character and you endure all the hardships, and the most important thing is you protect your iman, you will be inshallah successful. Establishing the rule is in Allah's hand, not in our hands. Our hand is to continue the struggle to bring La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah on yourself and on the land. So the Makki life, if we are living in a time frame where Muslims are subdued, individually and collectively, our job is to bring a change to that proportion that it will turn into a formidable force that will make it happen to be like the Madani life. That means the religion of Allah comes on top. Number 2, if we are in the time of Madani life, that means the religion is already established and everything is on top, Allah's religion is on top, then our job is to make sure that we put every effort to keep that religion on top. Do not have any disagreement and discord and fighting among the Muslims like it happens. You know, we have the example of Hazrat Usman, I already told you, Hazrat Ali. In those 2 times, there was significant amount of division, discord and fighting among Muslims, and the result was that Muslims become weak. So in Madani life, our job is to make sure that we have to make sure that we keep the religion of Allah on top by helping everyone and by helping, most important, at the state level to keep that state intact. It is not in our hand when Allah will change the time to test everyone. But our job is to protect our iman in that portion of time that we spend, that we remain sincere with ourselves, sincere with the people who are sincere with the deen of Muhammad Rasulullah. So this is how we need to take lessons from Makki life and Madani life. And our aim is to bring the religion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on top. This is our goal, wherever we are. And the other issue that we have to understand, that results are not in our hands. Results in hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Our job is to make this sincere effort, and that's it. Allah is the best judge. Also, as we had the issue about election, meaning this is a question that comes up. So the current way of electing the leaders is not correct. The correct way of doing elections should be what we call mutanasib numayindagi, or the election by proportion. So you have to understand that there should be two parties. One party which should be, on the Haq party, and the other one who is the party who is what we call right and left. Because there will be some people always which will not gonna bring the religion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the land. Either they are Muslims or they are non-Muslims, or whosoever they are, there will be always living. So these two categories, meaning Hizbullah and Hizbul Shaitan, will always be there. So elections should be done in a proportion that everybody should give a vote to a party, and then the party whosoever gets the most vote should be elected. So there will be always, in a proportion, some people will be sincere and true Muslims which will be elected by this proportion, that can say their voices or raise their voices against if there is something else is going on. Because we cannot fight each other. We are all Muslims. We don't know who has the true Iman and who has the characteristics of Munafiqeen. It is in Allah's hand. So once we establish that kind of election, then ultimately after certain period of time, there will be polarization. There will be one party which is all on the issue of establishing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's rule on themselves and on land, and the other party is who will be against. And then in that term is still the work of dawah, the bringing people towards Allah, should continue all along. This will also eliminate all the individuals who are spending so much money on propagating themselves for the seats. You give, even if you live any part of your country, you still give the vote to one party, whosoever party you belong to. And it will be a much easier solution in this day and age as far as the bay'ah is concerned. The current elections, although they are parties, but the parties has to choose local people who spend so much money, and there's so much sort of lying and pushing and pulling and what we call the money involved. In that aspect, once the party is elected, the party leaders has the authority to bring whosoever want in the cabinet and then establish the rule. And as long as they have a mandate for whatever 3 years, 5 years, 4 years, other people has to just keep doing the good work during that time. And there is no reason that you should create a chaos in the Muslim land. So this is something that needs to be further looked into it, and the issue about electing good people to the office. So this is just a very concise way of going into the conclusion points that I thought may be important for everyone to realize and understand. And then inshallah we will continue our explanations, and wa akhiru da'wana anil hamdulillahi rabbil alamin.